Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today, this is not a this is the last first impressions on a high tier tank for patch 1.81. After this, you will see purely tank reviews, I guess, or outstanding gameplay. And this is now the T-80B. This is now the highest Soviet battle rating main battle tank. It comes after the T-64B, with which it shares many similarities, but also some differences. And I think there are two major differences. First, the lack of significant armor, especially about the era package that is missing on the T-80B. However, the advantage is definitely the mobility with the gas turbine that produces 1100 horsepower, so 25-ish horsepower per ton ratio, and that actually, due to the fact that it's a gas turbine, propels the tank actually to top speed on even medium terrain if you give it a good go. And I think this is really great. The reverse gear, the turning is also improved over the T-64B, but it's not reaching the levels of an Abrams, and the same goes to the gun handling. So just half the gun depression, not as much elevation, not as fast turret rotation speed, not as fast reload. The hull armor is not that great, the survivability is lacking, and still this tank is fun for me. And this has to do with the ammunition. So let's have a quick look. We have very strong stock APFSDS as a tier 4 upgrade, some of the strongest APFSDS in game actually, but I'm not quite sure that it's really worth it because you shoot at the very same weak spots anyway, around the gun barrel, or just the turret ring. And the stock round even is capable of shooting through the lower glacis of the Abrams IP, which I just managed to do 1 or 2 times so far in the few battles that I played it. Again, it's first impressions, it's not a proper tank review, which will come later. So then we also have the high explosive shell with 47mm of penetration, so shooting the side of an enemy tank or just shooting in the turret ring and you blow up a lot of tanks, but with the one exception that is the that's the XM803 or the KPZ or MBT70 series of those tanks, because there is just a fuel tank, so there is that. But aside from this, you can blow up any other tank. Then we also have the ATGM for memeing down some helicopters at a range of up to 5 kilometers, which sadly I couldn't do so far, but I'm quite sure at some point I'll do it. 650mm of penetration is actually simulating the penetration power of the DM12 for the German Rheinmetall 120mm L44 cannon. That's not bad. So I think without further ado, let's just summarize the tank. It's strong, it's powerful, it's good looking, and I like it. So yeah, I had actually some fun at high tier. Let's hop into some gameplay and see why. So the first battle is here actually on the measurement line, and watch the speed. So it's not slow, definitely not slow, and I go here with a high risk intention into the cap. I don't have any sort of interest in sniping and camping and doing all the boring high tier elitist crap bullshit. I want to have fun, and I could have a better KD, I could have a better win ratio, but I don't care. I don't take high tier actually that serious. So yeah, I went in here with an MBT or KPZ70. I launched here one volley for the smoke grenades, and I looked around the corner. Always give yourself the most knowledge that you can have. And the Abrams donks here the shot, and I damaged here the turret ring a little bit, as it seems from the hit camera, but it was not enough. And maybe this was the reason why he didn't have the chance to get the second shot on me, and I could actually finish him off. So this was a bit weird, and then again I go massively aggressively into the enemy's side of the territory, and I expect them not to expect this. I saw here quickly the turret of an MBT-70 and left the honor of dealing with this one via sniping to my team, and I see here the smoke actually dissipating slowly but surely. The markers go out of the back, there is the Abrams, and we kill the gunner. So this gives us enough time for a second shot. Let's make it count, and of course I aimed too much in the front. We just hit the fuel tank, but his gunner is still not back up, and he actually makes the mistake of reacting too slowly, and we get the second and the third AP FSTS into his tank. And now we might see then how to finish off some other tanks. This Abrams kind of identifies as a challenger, not yet Sunshine, and we actually get a good shot into with the second APFSTS. This one actually was suddenly standing there. That's the problem of Abrams or XM1s. And now we actually should reload a HE shell, but you see this shell went through without doing damage. His gun breech is taken out. Careful aiming in the slit of the turret ring, insert the HE shell, and then fun and engaging game mechanics happen. And this was already a triple strike. So that was a very aggressive run where they didn't expect it. I actually brought Riot into their lines. I was kind of the cause of chaos on their side, and this is what I think the tank serves as a bit of a surprise for the Abrams that think the only thing that matters on the battlefield is them. And they are certainly very strong, make no mistake about this. But with this one, you can just punch them right in the face, or in the throat rather. So I want to snipe here the helicopters. I hear them, but I think it just sounds too close as it actually is. I launched here the smoke again from my smoke system, and here the MBT-70 actually dodges or donks rather the ATGM on the side, and now my gun barrel is taken out due to the machine gun firing, and I blow it up with actually my own shot. So that's actually the third ATGM that deals no damage, so at least we can absorb them. I wiggle here the turret, trying to deny him any sort of advantage, and I should actually flip the reload to the ATGM, and I'm out of APFSTS. This is a lesson that I learned. Never take not enough ammunition with you, because if then you have a battle like this, this is the reason why I got killed right here. So I have to go through the 7.1 seconds reload of the autoloader, and I am a little bit too low again, so I just ignite the fuel tank. I actually expected him to have a blow up of his own gun barrel due to the orange gun barrel that I caused with the high explosive shell, but his ATGM said no, and then I got finished off by a Sheridan out of all the tanks. The shame. So again, let's observe this very aggressive push and just look at the tank, how it goes. 50, 55 and approaching 60 kilometers an hour. That is certainly not slow. So if a Abrams is kind of snoozing the first seconds of the battle, you can actually get into the equal position, the mirror position, and surprise him. Very good situational awareness and map knowledge is advertised. And there I also launched an artillery strike to give me at least visual cover. So there is already a smoke launched. I don't know if it was from my team or the enemy team. So now I actually hopefully get the first shot off, and I might have here a little advantage because I get to see him first and I shoot his cannon breech. So this Abrams is already wounded. I mark him for my team. He might receive some more shots. There is a Leopard 2K with me, the Kyler, and I just cap here, go up on the side, which I recommend. Rarely there is a tank that just shoots you there, and so we can actually advance on flat ground. So this is now a very calculated risk. I need to finish off that wounded Abrams because he didn't lose crew member and he's still there. So there is now this Abrams, and I'm not quite sure if it's the same, but his gunner and his loader are dead. He realizes there is no battle to win. I saw the gun barrel behind the rock. I finish off this body by killing his driver, and then this guy is still gun breached. Much fun, much fun. The most enthusiastic game mechanic within War Thunder. Now we are, thanks to the map design, already too deep into the enemy's territory. I launched the smoke to cover my retreat, and in French mode we go back to our side of the front line. So this is how I actually make the T-80B work. Very aggressive, reckless gameplay. And again, please look at the speed, 60 kilometers an hour on this actually medium terrain on the desert. And this is a scene that kind of baffled me a little bit. So I don't hear the shot at long range around about now. Yep, that was not enough lead because I was too fast going in that one direction. Now I get tracked and I immediately try to reverse in such a way or advance in such a way that I show my front to the enemy. And who's shooting at me? It's that fellow. Now he takes out my driver and actually sets my engine on fire. So this shot needed to be counting, and the rest of the Abrams are just driving by, actually ignoring me, and meanwhile I just work over this guy. So this is baffling, you know, and yeah, a little bit lower, a little bit more to the left. Come on, make it count. There we go. So that was an Abrams, and I'm standing here right in the middle, and they're just focusing on the front line. They don't expect anybody to flank them. And I think this is really great with the with you know, a Soviet tank. They don't expect this at all. So again, a bit of correction. You can see how easy it is to aim at long range, to aim for the gun breech, to aim for the turret ring, to aim for certain parts of the tank. And I think this is the strength. I think it's the best sniper at high tier. Regardless what you might think about the Rheinmetall L44, this is, I think, the easiest to aim gun for me personally. Again, a personal opinion here. And this is just something really, really great, I think, about this tank. So that it actually can reposition and actually can bring in the devastating fire. Again, we notice here an enemy. Now, I don't know how many tanks of the enemy are actually on A, but let's have a look if we can actually... Yep, there it goes. There, yeah, we disabled him. We correct our aim. And we go through the side of the turret. I think it's either an Abrams or an XM1, and then we finish him off by aiming for the turret ring. So this is just aiming correction via the hit camera. I couldn't obviously see through the bush, and then I received a shot from somewhere else and I didn't know from where. So according to my position, I need to go into another position to be very effective and give my team the advantage. Now you can see on the other side of the map, our team is dueling with some other enemy team members that go wide, and so they just are not actually even indirectly fighting for a position to work their way into A. I'm actually doing here the flanking, but of course the map is so wide, the capture point is so located far to one side of the map, it is a bit hard to see it. You know, at the end most people go for the kills, and again we see a sniper and we get in the first shot. Again on Abrams, it's really satisfying getting in those snapshots. I hear now a helicopter, and now I try to actually snipe it, but it doesn't work, and so I think that's the end of the game. But you can see here, in theory, you can do it with ATGMs or the APFSDS if you are better than me, if you pick the better rock to climb on to actually benefit your gun elevation. So many people are actually much better at helicopter sniping than I am, but you never know. You can try it despite this. I mean, you have to train it nevertheless. But now I want to show you then the other not so great thing about the T-80B, and this is that you cannot kill as many Abrams and XM1s as there are on the map. And so A is still preoccupied, the helicopter is dead, and so now I want to actually use my position to full effect. I switch back to the APFSDS. We see the back of an Abrams, we fire the ATGM, set the engine on fire, and obviously that's his first fire extinguisher needed, and so we try to set it on fire again. One of our team members does it, so we wait for the cooldown of the fire extinguisher, which is around now, and then we try to set it on fire again, but RNG says no. I considered here to switch back to the ATGM. Maybe it has a higher fire chance, but there is then another Abrams. I reverse and he still hits me, but then an Abrams comes from outer space and executes me. Now again, another battle on measuring the line, and this time we want to go for the enemy's cap and we want to actually activate the cap trap. So you just drive into the cap and make it decapping itself, and you then loiter around in the vicinity to see if you can punish those who are actually trying to get it back or to just simply hunt you down. And so you spring the trap. When they enter the cap area, you get a message, so you have a notification that they are there. There is the other Abrams. He bounces his shot, and maybe I was too much on the move for him, and we try to finish him off. I could have switched here to the HE shell, but again, yeah. And then we actually cannot drive over this Stalin wood tree, and so we try our best going now the other way. And yeah, another one falls for it, and that is now an IPM2, insane price Mark 1. So yeah, much fun for this guy. And so we go through it again. We spread a little bit the panic if somebody's actually looking at the messages. Now I want to drive through the city to actually go into the fight and help out my team. A quick look if somebody's actually coming, so that I don't have to drive back all the way. But it doesn't look like this. So moments later, we are actually observing an enemy helicopter, and he's just behind this bush. There was an Abrams around, so I stay in the cover of the bunker. And yeah, I still have to train it a lot. I don't know how to effectively lead them, but now he's so close that I can use my heavy machine gun, which is not all that inefficient. And you can hear something's wrong with this helicopter. And then I actually thought for a moment that somebody is around there, so I was dancing around the bunker. You know, it's called the Soviet bunker dance. TM, you heard it here first. And yeah, there we got the helicopter kill, which is always nice. A few more moments later and we go back to the capping area because somebody tries to cap it, or they already did. I was just too late a few moments. Then I see him, hello there, and I have an ATGM loaded, so I need a little bit more time. And you could see it's still misfired. I reload now a big HE shell and watch this shot. Right where it hurts. So that was actually a crew knockout. And I really like this about this high explosive shell. Its value must not be underestimated as a finish off shell if you're low on credits, and it's there from the stock, so it supports your stock grind. So that is really great. Again, we drive through it to decap it, and now I try to hunt down some other tanks. I heard it a little bit in the background, so that was always difficult. And this is now playing cat and mouse. And this is really, really dangerous. So while I hate fighting in the city, this is what you have to train. This is what you have to really know. You have to hear to your surroundings. You have to actually fiddle a little bit around with the sound settings within War Thunder. And I think this is not a real tank fight. And again, it's more about high tier Call of Duty, anything like this. But I think this tank is very well suited to do so. But sometimes you find your master. I heard the tank, but I looked into the wrong direction, and before I could react, it was there. And 5-second reloads and the slow turret rotation on the T-80B actually sealed my fate. And now I want to show you one battle on Karelia that is ridiculous for sure. So again, we start closer to A than to B. And you must rush B, comrade, is something that the enemy might expect. And so I launch here an artillery strike to this position and this conjunction where I expect the enemy to be. This tank fires, so I actually have enough time to reverse and send one back into his turret. And that seems to be an XM1 that I managed to go through the hull. The hull form, well, it doesn't really matter. Kill is a kill. I don't really feel sorry for this guy. So let's again go in very aggressively, no mercy, and again we get a very good shot in. And sadly, before I can kill him, he gets killed by another T-80B. It was actually an Abrams this time. I don't have any problem with it, and I go again very high risk, low reward this time. So I need to repair my gun barrel, so I do it in a very risky situation, but I have faith that the guy behind me actually helps me a little bit in distracting the enemy, where the machine gun fire is coming through the smoke. I fire a little bit here as well. He just might finish me off and rush me, but I don't know if he knows that I'm damaged. I can't fire back. But the gun behind me is still very painful if he tries to go, at least, especially with this angles. Now I think he got killed according to the messages, and so I'm a bit hesitant to breach through the smoke, but this is now the very high risk, very high reward gameplay, and you know, I don't take high tier that serious, to be honest. I think it's nothing but high tier Call of Duty. No, it's so unique and do. Now I make the mistake of switching to the HE shell, and yeah, while I absorb here the shot from this tank, I try to make it work, and actually we kill the driver, the track and the fuel tank and make the gun barrel orange. He fires, you can see it's blown up, and yeah, sadly that was not a connecting shot. Sometimes with the Abrams I don't know why it doesn't work, and that's now my third assist, so that's a bit disappointing. If I would stuck with AP FSDS, then I would have gotten maybe, you know, 3 kills out of this. Now there is an annoying machine gun bug, but I think you have to ignore it or actually accept it for the moment, because this battle was really great. I don't know what's wrong with those machine guns. I hate it a lot. And now I have actually an HE shell loaded, and this is very risky. So now I choose to actually use the exhaust smoke system and actually smoke the entire cap up. So while the enemy might know where we are, they don't have the exact jump on us. And this is what I rely on. So we captured it with 2 tanks, and then I go through it again and again. Very offensive. There is some action going on. See, I want to go directly in. I already observe if something's going on, if somebody comes up this ramp. Nobody here. Again, this is a smoke. This is a high explosive shell, and yet because of the armor layout, it is very efficient. So those Abrams, they have no idea that I'm here. Careful aim. Come on. 1-shot kill. Not that easy on an Abrams. The other one is completely oblivious, and while we do a lot of damage, that was not a very good hit. Could have done better. But he's completely oblivious, and yeah, we finish him off here with an AP FSDS round. Now there was a third one, we decap C. And hello sunshine. Driver, track, fuel tank. Again, he's completely disorientated. Where does this shot come from? And before he can react, he's already dead. So I think this is amazing. This is great. I love it. And that's a triple strike, you know. Just like this. Just running around like an Abrams, feeding them their own medicine. I have no mercy with them. I don't feel sorry about their repair costs. They're ruining the life of so many other tanks. It feels great to have a retaliation on all those freeaboos. So the question is, where is now the last enemy tank? He's actually to my left, and I have the AP FSDS, so that was actually not the disabling shot that I hoped for, but he's tracked, and by hitting the turret ring I can take my time and try to finish him off. But that was not good enough. Now over the end of the tank he cannot properly fire, but due to my positioning we need to use a heat shell, an HE shell again, and that's a beautiful damaging hit. 5 kills just like this. Now the helicopter is coming in and I try to flee. I need to get some more ammunition, and before I can do anything about it I get shot at with an ATGM from a helicopter, and then an FJ4B comes in and rebalances me, because in the name of America, yeah. So that was really annoying and a not really worthy ending to this battle. Nevertheless, that's the T-80B, a tank that is just very aggressive. It fits the meta much better than the previous Soviet tanks, I guess, and I really like this about it. It has a very punchy gun. The armor is trolley at times against APDS or APFSDS, and while it cannot really tank any sort of heat shells, except the low penetration one around the 400, 100mm mark. You know, who would have thought that we would ever say this in War Thunder? But nevertheless, I really like the tank, and I am actually looking forward to playing this tank for getting the footage for an upcoming tank review, maybe next week or so. I have to see how it goes with real life and stuff. But that's it for me today. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please give this video a like with it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Let me know in the comment section what you think of my gameplay style and also how you do play the tank. Have you experience with the tank? Have you experience playing against it? Let me know. And as usual, we will see each other in the skies and on the battlefields of War Thunder.